enormous adulation from the big crowds, especially at the indoor events. Tell us what that's like to enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, they're all very different crowds though, because when you go to Germany, indoor driving's been going on for sort of 20, 30 years already. So they're a very experienced public. So they appreciate quality driving. And if you go to Stockholm, it's a younger, enthusiastic, tends to be mostly girls and young boys that love horses. So they're a more excitable crowd. When you go to London Olympia, it's also sort of only been running 10 years, the World Cup driving there in the winter. So they've just started to get the hang of driving, but it's a country that knows driving well, but it's only just understanding the sport. So, and if you go to Geneva, it feels like you're driving on a ski slope. They've got the cowbells and the horns like a downhill winter skiing race. So it's again a different type of public. So every indoor show, or if you go down to Portugal or Spain, they do the betting on all the driving. So that's another dynamic to it. So every country brings their own style to the show.
How much did the love of the horse initially inspire you to pursue this life and career?
I think that's the core of it. I mean, I'm still love horses. I don't get to spend the time with horses individually, independently, like maybe when I started, when there were sort of 3 or 4 horses, you were the person, washing them, rugging them, harnessing them, competing them. Now, we have 4 or 5 grooms and 40 or 50 horses. I know the horses as a trainer, as a driver. So they know me as a driver, trainer, but I don't know all the little innuendos or characteristics in the stables. Of course, you know the pattern, but not like, some of my grooms. And so what I tend to do is have one groom look after sort of a group of 8 horses, and that's their responsibility. So as I'm training, we speak about their condition, whether they're a little bit light in weight or a little bit overweight, or I'll keep an eye on their shoeing angles, and I've sort of got an unbiased, clean eye that just comes in and can spot if the angle's wrong straight away, whereas if you sort of work with them every day, you don't always notice that it's going a little bit wrong. Or we speak about that one needs a little bit of cream, or that one's getting a tail or mane rub. So, and then I'll make those comments to that groom on the carriage. That's her responsibility to look after those horses. So each groom has a sort of a different section to look after, and then I know if something's not quite right, or a horse doesn't look as comfortable in his work or in his training. I'll ask some questions, what's going on, and they'll say, yeah, he's been off his feed a few days, and they'll give me information.
So whilst you're leading a big team of people and horses, you are still spending the time to be quite hands-on with the animals to get the best out of them. Is that a big part of what gives you the edge at the World Cup level, do you think?
I think one of the main things I do is sometimes when we come back from training horses, I'll often help wash the horses down, because when you're washing them down, you sort of run your hand over all legs and over all the body, so I keep an eye on how they're doing. I'll notice any extra rubs, because there's no equipment and that's the horse sort of being naked. When they're wearing the horse rugs in the stables, you don't sort of see everything. But I can feel, sort of the rule is good shoeing and good feed and good training, and basically the horses stay on top physically. Often we're having to do veterinary intervention work because a shoeing angle hasn't been right, or you've worked the horse a little bit too hard for a few days, or so then you need a little bit of veterinary help to keep them physically 100%. So there's a pattern to it, and definitely in driving we have high numbers of horses, so you recognise the pattern, a bit like as if a GP or doctor recognised cold or flu symptoms. Everybody's got a different version of it, but it's still cold or flu. It's a little bit the same with horses. There is a pattern, and when you start to see the pattern a little bit more clearly after 30, 40 years in the sport.